Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I want to talk just a little bit about the past week here in online passes with Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I know this past week the internet was abuzz to find out that, yes, there is an online pass for 38 Studios, Kingdoms of Reckoning. And it's basically locking you out of certain content if you don't buy the game brand new and get this pass. Now, over the week, there were responses from Kurt Schilling himself, actually, from 38 Studios, as well as some of the community managers for the game, basically saying that it's an incentive for people to be there day one, and they're kind of trying to reward those who initially get on board with the game. It is day one DLC, and I understand the thought that it's kind of a nefarious way of, you know, pulling content off a disc intentionally or you know, just trying to make people buy the game new and bypass the whole used market. A better way to do it probably would have been to just hold off, or maybe do like what Battlefield did, is say, buy the game new, and a month or two later, we're going to throw at you some DLC. You get the first DLC for free. Maybe that would have been the better way to handle it. But I think if we look at the big picture of this, and I don't think the companies are to really blame for this. You know, they have to do what they have to do to have you buy their games new, right? The used market really is taking a lot away from these companies. And, you know, I think it's more the retail end, the retailers, that are to blame for it. And I think everybody can kind of agree on that. And when we think about when we buy a used game, what are we saving? $5, right? But the retailer's making tons of money by doing that. I think what could fix this is if we look on the PC, where digital distribution is huge. I mean, Valve has found a way to present us with Steam and put games out there, and people are going nuts over that. And one of the best things is when they have the Steam sales. You can get a game that's like $50 some days for $7 for a day period, and people buy it up. If there was a way for us to really truly have day and date digital distribution on the consoles, that would be great. And I give kudos to Sony for, number one, taking the risk with the PSP Go. I mean, say what you will about the system, at least they tried it, right? It wasn't the best option out there. The original PSP was still there with the actual disc copies, but they tried it just to see where it goes. Yeah, arguably it failed, but they tried it, right? Now with the Vita, we're seeing what could possibly be the fix for this. It's $50 for a retail copy of a Vita game. It's $45 if you download it digitally. There's the $5 from a used game sale that you would go to GameStop and pay. So, you know, I think that in the end could help the publishers and the developers, because, you know, they're not having to print all these copies of the game and pay them to be shipped to the retailers and pay for the box copies and all that, because the file's just there. They get paid when the game is purchased, kind of like iTunes. I mean, Apple has found a way to take, you know, CDs and just basically make them meaningless, except for people who don't have internet. And I know that's always the argument that everybody always goes back to is, well, what if you don't have internet? You know, you won't be able to get these games. Well, if you're watching me, you obviously have access to the internet, or if you're somebody up on forums posting that you think it's a terrible idea, you have access to the internet. But also, you know, I pay a heck of a lot of money for my internet. I have pretty high-speed internet, and I pay a good amount. So by me being able to download the game digitally, even if it's just $5 cheaper, in the end, it all kind of evens out. Even though you may be paying $5 more by going to your local Walmart or GameStop, whatever it is, to pay for that retail copy, you don't have internet because you can't download it. Hence the reason why I pay a little bit more for my internet, because I can get it cheaper. So I think that's the fix for these online passes. They're not going anywhere, I think, until we can get this straightened out. And you know, yes, it sucks. I mean, I think the biggest offender of it, and where a lot of people have problems, is with Arkham City. I mean, they really pushed that Catwoman content. I mean, Catwoman was all over everything you saw about Arkham City. And then when the, you know, week before the game comes out, everybody finds out that it's downloadable content, and it was drummed as being such a big part of the game. I understand the outrage in that, and, you know, a lot of people say, well, if I don't have internet, and you know what, that does suck, because I was really pushed as being content in the game. But, you know, if they did something where if that game was digital, you pay $55, you download it, you get the content, or you go to the retailer, you pay $60, you get the content. So, you know, I think it's really going to boil down to, are the video game companies, the publishers and all that, really willing to kind of take the hit and hurt retailers, and namely, I mean, some of the biggest ones, Walmart and GameStop and Best Buy, and say, hey, you know, we're launching this digital distribution site, and this is how games are going to be moving forward. We still are going to have retail copies, but, you know, it's not going to be as big as it is. I mean, think about, when's the last time you've been to your local Best Buy? Look at the CD section. It's nothing. 10 years ago, it was huge. I mean, you go to Best Buy to buy CDs because that was the place where you bought them. So, the industry needs to change, and kudos to Sony for making the effort and really stepping it up a little bit and saying, hey, $50 retail copy, $45. I hope it works out. I think that's the way we need to go. I'd rather sit at home and save that $5 that I could on a used game and, just go ahead and download it right away. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, and this is really, I think, going to be the kicker with the Vita games. Are the used copies at GameStop? Will they be 45 or will they be 40? Will they undercut that digital download? Because that's the only way for them to really continue on, especially moving forward with the new consoles. I mean, Nintendo's already saying the Nintendo Network they are going to find a way to digitally distribute packaged games. And if they can nail that on day one, day and date for these releases, it's going to be huge. So let's all take a breath with the online passes. We're still working all that out, but just look to the future and know it's going to be much better when digital distribution gets out.